So great having my next guest back here on the program, and he's got a huge fight coming up here in the boxing ring. He's going to be taking on Tommy Fury on the Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley undercard. It is Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor back here on the program. Pretty Boy, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, James. I'm good, my brother. I feel good. I look good. I am good. I'm the good.
You certainly are good, man. What a fight this is. Tell me when this first came on your radar to where we are now. When did you get sort of wind about this fight coming together?
So, all right. So I was training. I've been training since May 1st. I was getting ready for Elite MMA Championship in Germany, July 3rd for a world title, which I advocated on my page. So I'm getting ready for the fight. It's about June 15th. I'm about a week and a half out before my fight. I get hit up by Jake's Paul team. BJ Flores, his head trainer, said, "Hey, how would you like the opportunity of coming training with Jake for helping him get ready for his fight?" I'm like, "Cool, let's do it." So they fly me out to Puerto Rico, and I was like, "Hey, this is a great opportunity." I wasn't sure what the UN nation was going to let me in or not, so I ended up canceling that fight. I told them ahead of time, like, "Hey, I have a fight August 1st. I just want you guys to know that I might not be here for that long." They said, "Okay, cool." So I'm training with Jake for 2 weeks. Third week's coming in. My manager hit me up and say, "Hey, your opponent, Jim Ehlers, has backed out the fight." I'm like, "Yo, like, what's going on?" Like, and let me remind you, this is the same day where everything happens. I'm like, "What's going on? Why is he like?" First of all, with Cage Warriors, like, I haven't fought since January 20th. January of 2020. You guys want to set me up with a guy who's like 18-4 or 14-4 as my first fight back. So I said, "Let me see what else you guys got." Then they bring in another guy named Kyle. I'm like, "Hey, I know that guy. I train at AKA. I train at AKA whenever I'm in the Bay Area visiting family. I'm not going to ruin my relationship with AKA because of my personality." So I turned that fight down. At this point, I was just getting fed up. I canceled the fight. So I let them know, like, hey, the day before I was supposed to let them know, like, hey, I'm not fighting Cage Warriors, Jake and his team was like, "Hey, congratulations." I'm like, "What's going on?" "Jake wants you to stay for the whole camp. He wants you to stay the whole camp. You're doing good." I said, "Okay." So a week later, Jake was like, "Hey, I got some news for you." I said, "Okay." So he brings me in after the gym, after we get done sparring. He was like, "Have you heard of Tommy Fury?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, the guy that's been trying to fight you." And he was like, "How would you like to fight him on my undercard? I would love for you to fight him." I was like, wow, blown away, like, opportunity. Let's do it.
There we go. So Mr. Paul was the one who made it happen.
Jake and them made it happen.
That's awesome.
He doesn't care about Tommy. The only reason why Tommy is irrelevant because Tyson brought his name up. Without Tyson bringing his name up, who would have known he had a little brother?
It's pretty crazy how all this sort of came together. I want to back up a little bit. You mentioned sort of training with Jake Paul and all that. Is that just from the last time you went to spar with him? You guys kind of kept in touch and he thought to bring you down? Like, tell me how that came together with him getting in touch with you and telling you to come down and train with him. Because that's a pretty big honor to get to work with him for this mega fight.
Well, me and Jake, I came in there with bad blood the very first time talking smack. Because, I was like, hey, I want to try to secure a fight.
I remember, yeah.
He's a money grab. I came down there. We got in that work together. Of course, we had our little indifference, social media, a little bicker and batter. He said some things, I said some things. It's all squashed now. He called me in, BJ and them called me in because I have a similar style like Tyron Woodley. Awkward. What's going on, brother? Awkward. We're both awkward. We're strong. We have a similar build together. So that was one of the reasons why he called me in. Now, BJ and Jake and this whole team, they could have brought anybody in and around the world, but they chose to bring me in.
Yeah, which speaks volumes to you and your skill set.
Exactly, because they could have brought in world-class boxers for sparring and training, but they decided to bring me in.
How does that make you feel, man? Like, think about that. Like, this is going to be one of the biggest fights this year, if not the biggest fight in terms of attention and notoriety and everything with this all coming together. And you're going to be a part of the camp of the guy that they're sort of building this around. What does that mean to you?
I mean, it's just another fight. It's like MMA. It's just he's a stepping stone to me. He's undermining me. He's not even acknowledging me in this fight. He's not even promoting it. He's just like, oh. In Tommy Fury eyes, it's more like, hey, I'm just going to Cleveland to show up and then do a face-off with Jake Paul and fight him next. That's how he's playing the fight off. He's not even acknowledging that I'm his opponent. He just thinks he's going to flatline me in 10 seconds because I'm 5'6", 5'7". Dude, you're only 5 inches taller than me. You're not that much. You make it seem like you're Tyson Fury's height. You know, I can see if he was his height, yeah, it'd be a different story. But you're only 5 inches taller than me, and it doesn't matter if you're a little heavier than me.
Now, because you got to train with Jake and you sort of did this boxing camp, how much of a benefit is that? Because it's not like you were doing MMA and then taking this boxing fight. You've been in a boxing camp for this long.
Yeah, I definitely have. You know, a lot of people don't know, James. I've been boxing since I was 18. I just happened to go into MMA at the age of 25. You know, everybody knows my style. They know that I'm not a Muay Thai kickboxer. They know I'm not a kickboxer, a Muay Thai fighter, you know, a Dutch fighter. I'm either boxing and wrestling. So whenever I get ready for a fight, I spar 3 times a week in straight boxing. I go to professional boxing like Wild Card, Jackrabbit, Lightning Boxing Gym, or King's Gyms in Oakland. I spar 3 days a week in straight boxing. And then when I do my grappling, I do it with Antonio, McKee, AJ, and everybody else.
Speaking of which, what did you think of AJ's win on the weekend? And I'm sure you've talked to him since he won the title over Patricio Pitbull.
I already knew AJ was going to win that fight. Yeah. He was going to dominate it. I've already seen because, you know, me and Pitbull have the same height and the same exact reach. In training with AJ, sparring with him a lot, he definitely knew his range and his levels when he was sparring with Pitbull, because the fact that he had an advantage of training with me for so many years, it was like repetition. I understand. I got someone who's the exact training partner for me for the Pitbull fight. Fortunately, I wasn't able to be there for the whole camp because, you know, with the Jake Paul thing, but it worked out for both fights because he won his big fight and I'm going to win my next big fight.
Who else have you had a chance to work with for this camp?
Jalen Love.
Okay.
I'm sparring with Jalen Love. Great fighter, and I'm definitely getting things done with him, and it helps. I'm also sparring with the Enrique from Puerto Rico, very big prospect in Puerto Rico, so I'm sparring with him, and I'm getting ready.
Have you worked with anyone to kind of mimic his size, or you're not even worrying about that? You're just kind of like going to go in there, do your thing?
No, I've always been the shortest guy at my camp. You know, I'm 5'6". I'm 5'7". Everybody I fight and train with are like 5'11", 6 feet, 6'1" in the cage. I fought Dean Barry, who was like 6 feet. I fought Chris Avila, 5'11". I fought Mike Hales, 5'11". Who else I fought? Adam Borix, 5'11". You know, I'm fighting tall guys who are like inch shorter than Tommy, and they're all better strikers than Tommy. Tommy has no respect in boxing because a real boxer don't fight guys with 10 wins and 126 losses or 0 wins and 26 losses. You're not even considered a boxer. You know, how can you say you're going to beat me up if you beat people up that were paid to lose? Now, if you're in England and I'm Tommy, and England's like telling the promoters, like, hey, we're going to pay you 8,000 pounds to lose this fight. And we want you to do this every month against prospects that we have. That's a decent living, 8,000 pounds a month. You know, that's a really good, decent living right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And there's a lot of enticement, right, to do that. So
So you see those guys like, yo, I can see it's not like you're this hot prospect coming up like Ryan Garcia, and you're fighting a guy 1-1, 2-1, 3-3, 5-4, okay, 7-4, okay, we're going to your 7th fight, 10-2. You know, he just fought bums. No one knew who he was until Tyson said his name. He was embarrassed of his little brother.
Who's going to be in the cage or the ring with you that night as far as your cornerman?
I got Antonio McKee for
Oh,
sure.
he is coming out. Nice. Okay, good.
Absolutely. Other two, one of them was Jalen, but we don't know what can happen. We'll have to figure it out with me and my team, my camp, and see what's going on. AJ will definitely be there. Baby Slice will be there supporting me. A lot of my teammates, my family, friends are definitely gonna be there. This is like Apollo Creed. This is like a.
I saw the poster. I agree with you. It does really look like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can even call him Ivan Drago, or you can even call it Ricky Callahan, from England. It can either go, but this is real life.
What it's I know the weight class, it's cruiserweight. So how many pounds is that for people who might not know?
This is a 180-pound fight.
180. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was curious. So you probably don't have to cut much weight at all.
No, I don't. So I'm going here. So,
no worries. It's all good.
No, you're right. I don't have to cut no weight at all. I'm just building up. I'm building up everything that I'm doing. No weight, no cut, no nothing. I'm just slowly packing on muscle and running.
You mentioned there Antonio being in your corner. I know Woodley spent some time with AJ because I spoke to AJ last week before his title fight. Is there any issues there with the fact that you're helping Jake for his fight and Woodley's fighting him at all?
No, I don't know Tyron. I've never met the guy, trained the guy. I don't call it guilty by association. I don't know him.
Yeah.
I've never been Antonio for 6 years and I've never met the guy.
Okay.
Antonio here to train with me. Antonio's not training Tyron. You know what I'm saying? And Antonio's not training Jake. So it shouldn't be an issue. Antonio's coming here to train me. Yeah, he'll meet Jake, but it's not like he's training or seeing Jake train.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I just thought, because I know Tyron had spent some time at that camp for this fight, so I just was curious if there's any, and I don't know. I know you guys are not worried about stuff leaking out or whatever, right? So I was just curious about that. How do you see the fight unfolding on August 29th?
Oh, second round TKO. Referee stoppage. Second round TKO.
All right, you heard it here first. What's, not looking past August 29th, but this is going to be a pretty high profile fight for you. Is the plan to continue in boxing after this, or you just want to see how this goes and reassess? Because I know you're going to get a lot of offers in MMA and boxing, I would assume, after this.
Absolutely. Right now I can just focus on boxing. When that time does approach and happens, and that's something me and my team has to talk about. Who knows? If once I beat Tommy, he might want a rematch, or I might fight in England or under the Logan Paul card, next Jake Paul card, or Tyson versus Deion. I don't know where I'm going to fight. I might, if all goes well and the money's right, most likely I'll leave MMA and go straight to boxing.
Has Bellator circled back to you at all since you fought for them? Because I would imagine now with, you working with Jake and now this fight, I could see them wanting to bring you back now because obviously your brand's even stronger than it was before. Has there been any contact with them?
No contact, but I'm very, as far as the matchmaking and Scott Croker, no contact.
Interesting.
As far as talking with the PR people and just, I'm friends with them. We talk here and there, but nothing about me fighting on the card. It's just, hey, how's it going? Hey, congratulations, thank you. Because you want to stay close to the PR. There's a reason why you're popular through the PR. But as far as contract talks, no, there were contract talks with me in the UFC. My representatives reached out to the matchmakers. There are mutual interests, but I think a lot of it was me building up my record, being 7-5. I didn't think the UFC would want to bring someone in with a 7-5 record. If I would have got into 10-5 with an 8-5 win streak, different story. But like I said, there's been talks. Nothing set in stone, but right now I'm just focused on Showtime. I'm focused on Tommy Ferry, looking to beat him up and do what I do best.
Let's just talk about his girl or something. You said you're going to take her. There was some sort of, I don't know if it was a bet or something, but you sort of just threw it out there because isn't his girlfriend from a reality show or something?
called Love Island.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, hey, come to my Love Island. It's not going to take me to propose to you, you know. And his girlfriend's like the most popular girl, one of the most popular girls in England. 5.8 million followers on Instagram. Just a very popular person.
Two more quick questions. What's something about Jake that we might not know? We see Jake, the personality, we see Jake with all of his content, and we even see him in the boxing ring. But is there something that you see in him that maybe we don't? Something that might have surprised you getting to work with him?
He's very business savvy, and very determined, dedicated. That business savvy, dedicated, determined. The man works hard at his craft.
How much have you learned just being around him? Because I know you're the same way. You're always out there on social media. Even well before you even knew about Jake or whatever. I remember you posting stuff when you were in Ireland, and you've captivated multiple fan bases from all over the world.
Absolutely. I'm learning a lot from Jake. Learning the business part of social media, how to master it, how to maintain relevancy, how to just overall just capture the moment. I'm learning how to be in more control of what I say and what I do, and he's helped a lot with that. That part is very big because sometimes I ain't got no filter, and thank God I'm not like celebrity status. Ooh wee, man, thank God. But after this fight, I probably will.
It's a huge fight. I do have one more question, only because the last time we did an interview, I got so many comments about this, so I have to ask you, has anyone told you that you sound a little bit like Chris Rock, the comedian?
How the hell I sound like Chris Rock? Like, wait a minute. I feel some type of way right now. Everybody says that.
Dude, that's if you were on the phone right now and I couldn't see your face, I would totally think that's Chris Rock, man. That's amazing. So.
Oh man, I actually practice that. Everybody says when I do my high voice, everybody says I sound like Chris Rock, like a lot.
I agree. I have to agree with that. Anthony, thanks so much for doing this, man. I can't wait for the fight. It's August 29th. It's Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley, and it's you against Tommy Fury. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media you want to plug? I'll give you the last word.
I ain't got no sponsors yet, so if y'all want to get on my shorts, let me know. Shout out to Jake Paul team, most valuable promotions. Also, shout out to Body Shop. Shout out to my family. Thank you guys, James, and your team. I appreciate you guys very much giving me this opportunity, this platform to express myself. So thank you personally, James. Thank you.